That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I just have to repeat this in case you did not see the video before this, because it is a major announcement. So currently I'm recording this on Monday, but Tuesday morning, so whenever y'all are watching this video, I'm driving about 2 hours to go and pick up an extremely nice computer that I just invested in. That way we can try to upgrade the stream, try to go out there and upgrade this channel. Because after all the support that y'all have showed, I decided that it is worth the investment. Yes, I mean, maybe it does not work out, but I'm willing to roll the dice. I'm willing to see if it does. So guys, please join me for the stream either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, whenever you are watching this video, because then you are going to be able to see the new setup. And I'm really hoping that is going to be more seamless. We're going to have a higher quality. And on top of all that, we actually went out there, we invested in, quote unquote invested, we bought 3 jerseys of my 3 favorite players in the NFL. We bought 3 frames. The 2 of the jerseys are supposed to get here on Tuesday. The frames just got here today. So hopefully Tuesday night, at the very latest, we are going to have those set up. We are going to have them behind us as a new background. And yes, I'm going to keep y'all updated with our 2020 record. As I said, I am recording this on Monday, so the games have not completed. But I think that if we are taking the chalkboard down, we are going to end up having to kind of come up with an overlay, but I will cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I'm just very excited that we are upgrading this channel, and I want to give all of y'all a major thank you, because y'all going out there, supporting the streams, supporting the videos, just doing everything that y'all do has allowed me to do this. And guys, y'all are the absolute best fantasy football audience on YouTube. Yeah, but that's enough rambling. Let's just get into the video. And if y'all watched the waiver wire running backs video this morning, you heard me talk about that there were very intriguing wide receivers on the waiver wire that I think that we are going to go out there and prioritize over the running backs. And that is because all 3 of these guys have massive upsides down the stretch in 2020. And let's talk about our first guy in Brandon Aiyuk. So yes, Brandon Aiyuk goes out here in week 3. By no means is he a matchup winner by any kind. I mean, he was not even in any starting lineups, but it was at least very encouraging seeing that Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers went out there. They schemed up plays for Brandon Aiyuk, and this is exactly what we knew they were going to do. I mean, coming into the 2020 NFL Draft, if you've been following this channel for a while, when we went out there and evaluated Brandon Aiyuk, I mean, he pretty much looked like a Deebo Samuel clone. It was kind of confusing that Kyle Shanahan went out here and invested into this wide receiver, already having Deebo Samuel on the roster. But regardless, I mean, after seeing his week 1 performance, after seeing him get carries in this offense, I think that too many people overlook that these manufactured touches are actually going to not only increase the player's floor, but they are going to increase their ceiling as well. This is something that we saw very similar to Tyreek Hill's rookie year. By no means am I comparing these 2 players. They played the game completely differently. I mean, by no means is Brandon Aiyuk the kind of athlete that Tyreek Hill is. But at the end of the day, with George Kittle still injured, with Deebo Samuel claiming he's going to come back any week now, but I have a very hard time believing that, and we know that the Jones fracture has a very high tendency to be re-aggravated. I think that we can go out there and significantly invest into Brandon Aiyuk, and while I may not be 100% confident in starting him in week 4, I think that this is a player that has that A.J. Brown 2019 type upside, and those are the guys that we are going out there. Those are the guys we are trying to prioritize on our fantasy football rosters, because if y'all watched the video before, I went into this, let me do it again because it's so important. So guys, I mean, if you play in a 10-man league, there's going to be one winner. And so you have, just mathematically speaking, a 10% chance to win your league. 90% of the time, you are going to lose your league. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we should be going out there and we should be prioritizing hitting that ceiling. We should not be going out there and trying to pick up a guy that we know, I mean, okay, yeah, he's going to be either a wide receiver 4 or a wide receiver 3, but I mean, I can put him in my flex if I get a bunch of injuries. I mean, no, that is not our objective. We want to go out there and we want to target guys on the waiver wire that if things break right, they can be a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1, and that is in the range of outcomes for Brandon Aiyuk. He actually came into the season as a very old rookie. I mean, if y'all don't know anything about Brandon Aiyuk, I'll just rattle some stuff off the top of my head. One, he's a JUCO transfer, so that is going to make him just look like he's a more advanced wide receiver coming into the NFL based on his final season production. And he actually went to Arizona State, where his second to last season he was playing behind N'Keal Harry. But as soon as N'Keal Harry left, Brandon Aiyuk just absolutely exploded in this offense. He was drafted higher in the 2020 NFL draft than Deebo Samuel was in the 2019 NFL draft. And this is just a player that we understand. He can go deep, he can run intermediate routes, and as we've seen, he can get manufactured touches around the line of scrimmage. So just an all-around weapon for the San Francisco 49ers offense. And I think with a great mind like Kyle Shanahan, we're going to see Brandon Aiyuk be used in very creative ways, a guy that you should go out there and prioritize. Okay, now our number 2 target on this week's waiver wire is going to end up being T. Higgins. Now, T. Higgins, I know a bunch of people are going to look at the raw fantasy stats and go, oh my God, T. Higgins had a great game. And yes, that is completely true. And that is one reason we should be going out there and targeting T. Higgins. But personally, the reason that I really like this T. Higgins target is because we know the fact that John Ross was a healthy scratch for week 3. So that is telling us that this team is fully confident in T. Higgins going and being an every down player with Joe Burrow. And what we also saw, something that one of the long list of things that I was just entirely wrong about in week 3 was that AJ Green went out there and after commanding 14 or 15 targets in week 2, he just kind of got erased from this offense. Yes, he did get the best cornerback matchup in the game, but that is no excuse anyway. If AJ Green is going to command the attention from the defense repeatedly week to week, we can kind of understand that Joe Burrow is just going to continue to not look his way because AJ Green is not a player like DeAndre Hopkins. So I think that what we can see from T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are both a floor and a ceiling combination than that I was not initially projecting for week 3. And this is based on the overall volume of the offense. This is based on AJ Green just kind of looking like a washed wide receiver at this point. So if these 3 players are going to be every down players for this team, I think that T. Higgins has a very, very high ceiling. And our entire thought process behind the T. Higgins draft pick whenever Cincinnati took him this offseason is I came on here and I said, okay, this is just the clear replacement for AJ Green. I don't think that T. Higgins is really going to produce at all in 2020. We know that AJ Green is playing on the franchise tag. I think once Green is out the door in 2021, we are going to see T. Higgins emerge as this team's ex-alpha wide receiver. But guys, this 21-year-old wide receiver already coming out in week 3, kind of boxing out John Ross for that wide receiver slot on this team. And that is extremely surprising. And I know most people are going to say, Mason, you idiot, John Ross is a horrible wide receiver. And yes, while that may be true, it does not take away the fact that John Ross kind of provides something that this offense does not have, and that is a vertical threat. So just due to the fact that you would assume that John Ross has a crucial role on this offense, a lot of people were coming out here and projecting John Ross to have like an 80% snap share in 2020. Being a healthy scratch for T. Higgins is something that I think we need to take attention to. And we understand with his massive frame, it's not a coincidence that he caught 2 touchdowns today. He is that red zone weapon. I think we can continue to see him used that way. So T. Higgins is our number 2 waiver wire target this week. Now, lastly, our number 1 guy is clearly going to be Justin Jefferson, someone that just made me look like a complete idiot going into week 3 because I was saying, guys, I do not like anyone on this offense. Without Stephon Diggs, they cannot move the ball down the field. With this new coaching staff, they don't want to move the ball down the field. They are just trying to game manage. They have the slowest pace of play by a wide margin so far in 2020. And guys, we just see Justin Jefferson completely unlock this offense, especially for Dalvin Cook. And that's the one thing with the running back position is you're kind of scared just what the overall offensive output is going to be. You're not really worried about the running back talent because we kind of can easily evaluate that. It's by far the easiest position to evaluate from a talent standpoint, but you are worried about the situation. And through 2 weeks, I was terrified of this Minnesota Vikings situation, but Justin Jefferson comes in, completely saves the day. What was very interesting about Justin Jefferson is at LSU, he played the majority of his snaps in the slot, and in Minnesota this past week, he actually was playing on the outside. So I would think that this would not be a natural fit for him. I would think that he would need more time to develop, but regardless, he went out there. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe it was something like 170 receiving yards. Just absolutely insane. You cut those in half, and he is still a week-to-week player for you. And now I think for Justin Jefferson, it's going to completely come down to what Minnesota Vikings offense is real. Is the Minnesota Vikings offense that we saw in weeks 1 and 2 the legit one? or is it the Minnesota Vikings offense that we saw in week 3? Because we understand the Vikings offense in week 1 had 5 pass attempts through the first half. In week 2, they had 6 pass attempts through the first half. So I don't care how many targets you are getting on your team. I don't care how talented of a wide receiver you are going to be. You are not going to be able to be productive if you see that few plays. Either way, though, I think that Justin Jefferson, as a pickup waiver wire guy, is easily worth the bet that this Minnesota Vikings offense will continue to perform like they did in week 3. Now, I'm not saying that Justin Jefferson is a locked-in wide receiver 2 every single week, but what I am saying is it's entirely possible that it was just a fluke with the Minnesota Vikings through the first 2 weeks. We understand that maybe a couple of these coaching staffs need to get a few games under their belt if they are going to transition, which is what we saw with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, we had no preseason this year, so I think that's entirely possible, and maybe this is going to be the real Vikings offense from now on. And if that's the case, I think Justin Jefferson, at the very minimum, is a wide receiver 2. And with all the wide receiver injuries that we've seen this year, it's going to be extremely valuable to have that guy on your roster. But thanks, guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go out there, drop a like on the video, and subscribe. We are going to be live streaming every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, answering all your fantasy football questions that we can. I'm extremely excited to get that new setup going for y'all. And yeah, that's all I got, and have a great day.